percent growth.
Well, by the way, the household sector, the household survey is not slowing down. It's actually speeding up. But let's put that aside. I don't want to beat a dead horse. There's a couple issues, Stu, that are worth looking at. And I acknowledge that after 3% first quarter, the second quarter was softer at 2%. And I'll wait for the numbers on Q3, probably the same. Fourth quarter going to be strong. I'm going to tell you why. Now, look, I got two big problems here. One is we are still suffering the aftermath of severe monetary restraint in 2018. Now, that restraint is being removed. And in fact, we are about 6 to 9 months. That's the usual lag. So I think the worst of that Fed obstacle may be coming to an end. The money markets are suggesting more Fed rate cuts. That will help. That's a big help. Second point, regarding manufacturing, and particularly manufacturing exports. I know everybody wants to go after President Trump, who is doing, in my judgment, he is doing the Lord's work to defend the United States economy and national security by showing how China must change its ways. We'll get to that in a minute.
We will.
Here's the biggest problem in manufacturing exports. It's not China, Stu, not by a long shot. It is Europe and Germany. Germany, in particular, we've lost 150 billion manufacturing export sales to Germany in recent months, and the Eurozone in general is in a virtual recession. I'm just saying to you, I understand people are concerned about tariffs. Hopefully we'll talk about that. But when you look at the actual evidence, look, we don't export that much to China. The loss in manufacturing exports to China is about $50 billion. The loss to Canada and Mexico is about 100. By the way, their economies are flat. The loss to Germany is 150 billion. So I'm just saying, as we did at the UN and the G7, Madam Chancellor Merkel should be cutting tax rates, individual and corporate tax rates, and deregulating to get their economy moving again. Even France just announced an income tax cut on top of a corporate tax cut. If we had a better European economy, we'd be exporting substantially more in manufacturing. The problem's not China on that score. China has many other problems.
All I would say, Larry,
Europe.
All I would say, Larry, is don't hold your breath on any European government seriously cutting taxes. You know that. That's not going to happen. But let me move on.
I'm going to send you over there as a goodwill ambassador. Spread supply side economics.
Not me,
Lord knows I've tried, Stu. I may as well let you have a shot at it.
Not a prayer, sir. What do you think is the impact on the economy of these impeachment proceedings?
Virtually nothing.
Nothing?
Virtually nothing.
What about the impact on the market?
I think there might be, at least at the beginning when the announcements were made, a modest and temporary impact. The market is looking at fundamentals, growth, profits, interest rates, policies, things of that sort. Look, I don't want to go deep into the impeachment story. My own personal judgment, and I was right there at the UN when all these stories broke and we saw the letter and we saw the complaint and so forth. I don't think there's a leg to stand on. But I'm not an expert. Let me say this. Here's what matters. President Trump has instituted pro-growth, pro-prosperity policies, lowering tax rates, rolling back costly regulations, opening up the energy sector, and fighting for lower trade barriers and reciprocity and a level playing field with China and other places, okay? As long as those policies are in place, and they are still in place, and I do not think House impeachment is going to change that because they'll never get through the Senate. As long as the Trump policies are in place, Stu, I think it bodes very well for the economy. If I'm wrong, and those policies are changed and reversed with some of these crazy ideas about national health care and green New Deals and whatnot, cost us probably 15, 20% of GNP. That would be a disaster. But I don't think the market believes that's going to happen. I think the market believes President Trump's going to be around for a long time. I think he's still the odds-on favorite. Therefore, the policies will remain in place, and that is pro-growth.
Larry, I want to bring up China trade and China